Your body knows how to be healthy. I'm your host, Martha Blessing, and this is the Place to Be Free podcast, a show that is passionately devoted to illuminating the potential within you to transform your health and life. We're shaking up and breaking up old paradigms so you can free up your mind and body, elevate your consciousness, and create profound well-being and a ridiculously happy and healthy life. On this show, we defy the norms and embrace a journey toward profound well-being and creating true freedom. We challenge patriarchal medicine, question fear-based culture, and dive deep into topics like quantum healing, energy medicine, mental science, consciousness, and universal spiritual laws. Whether you're here for solo explorations or the insightful interviews with individuals who've conquered fear and disease and broken through limitations, you're in for a transformative experience. If you're seeking empowerment, if you're ready for a life-changing shift, you're in the right place. Welcome to the podcast. Hi, I'm Martha Blessing, and welcome back to the podcast. Why does it seem so hard to heal? Why is there such this feeling of struggle in healing? I don't care whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, spiritual, it's all of those things, right? Why does it seem so hard? The resistance. It's about resistance. Where does the resistance come from? So in the process of healing, I talk about this all the time with clients, and this is the process of healing. It is to create a new pattern, an energetic pattern, not only in our body, but in our consciousness, which is our belief system, which is our subconscious mind. The seat of our subconscious mind is right in the center of our being, in the center of our chest, our high heart. It's where our intuition is. It's also where our grief is stored. When we don't love ourselves, when we don't trust ourselves, when we don't know or have a belief in our ability to survive, to be blessed, to thrive, we aren't able to see the opportunities that are there. If we do see the opportunities, they're filled with fear. They're filled with patterns of fear. We cannot recognize it as an opportunity. Price Pritchett talks about this in his book, U Squared. I'll leave it in the show notes. I've mentioned it before. And it's about like the fly buzzing on the windowsill, right? Buzzing out its last energy of its life, trying to get out a glass window. And 10 feet away, there's a door wide open. And he'll die on that windowsill because he doesn't know that there's a door 10 feet away that's wide open. That's the resistance. That's not being able to see that there is an opportunity. And the opportunity usually comes disguised as something we don't want. And our mind is in a pattern of recognition. So what do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. Why did it take me so long to heal 10 years of daily chronic pain? 10 years, right? It was a familiar pattern. It was the only pattern that I had. I had created it out of my programming as a child. The indoctrination from my family, the fear, the three things that we pretty much will do anything to get. We'll twist ourselves into pretzels. We'll be people pleasers. We'll stay at jobs that we hate. We'll stay with people who aren't good for us. We'll stay in dysfunctional relationships with narcissists. And in order to get love, self-esteem, safety, and security. And we don't even know that we're doing it. We don't know the pattern is there because it was developed when we were too young to know to reject it. So that is a pattern of recognition. That is a pattern that you don't know any different. It's why people who win the lottery end up broke again in 3 years, because their pattern of recognition that is in their subconscious mind is a belief in scarcity, a belief in lack, that there's not enough. So even when they have millions of dollars, the subconscious will find a way to uphold that pattern. Not enough. It'll find a way to make that person run out of money, right? I went through this as I went up to success. Even though I created success, I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I had that deep internal fear and panic. No matter how good it got, the other shoe was going to drop. That was my pattern of recognition. It was what was taught to me, what was programmed into me. I was not able to reject it. It became my truth and my identity. Some of us created our patterns of illness, of pain and sickness, in a response to a pattern that was programmed into us and wanting to get that love, getting to, like a rescue pattern, right? I've talked about this. I had a rescue pattern. A lot of us have rescue patterns. Nurses especially, right? We're rescuing everybody else. It makes us feel valued. It gives us safety. It gives us security. And so why won't we leave the job? Why won't we leave the relationship? Why won't we leave the things when we know it's not good for us? Because it's a pattern of recognition. It's the subconscious is trying to keep you safe in that pattern. So I always tell people it's like in The Wizard of Oz, right? When Dorothy and her friends get out of the big bad dark forest and they can see Emerald City and they can see Oz. There's this big field. They've got to cross the field. Well, your whole life you've crossed the field, but you had that path determined for you. You did not determine it. You did not create it. For some people, very few, very rare these days, they have the support to create their own pattern and their own belief. However, you went across that field, you had to bushwhack. You had to create a path. What that is your energetic pattern, that groove, that neuroplasticity that goes there over and over, right? When your mind just like, you want it to stop with the thoughts and the ruminating and it just won't stop. Pattern recognition. How do you heal this stuff? How do you change? How do you create permanent, lasting change? Is to create a new pattern for your subconscious to believe in and recognize. So as you cross that field, you bushwhack. Now it's a simple, easy, and you get to that precipice at the field every day and you go, I'm going here, I'm going here. And then you have to go, no, wait, stop. I don't want to take that path anymore. It's not right for me. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't bring me happiness, wealth, joy, health, the things that are my sovereign self, my birthright, and that God's source wants for you. And so then you say, stop, and you go, let me create a new path over here. Now you will have to create that new path. What happens when people are working on their healing, and it's hard, it's sad for me, right? Because they come in there like, oh, I've tried everything. I did this, I did that. Number one, you didn't get this, and you didn't get to the core cause, which was the shame, the guilt, whatever the core wound was that you're still repressed inside of you. The adrenal fatigue, the fight or flight, the trying to control, trying to feel safe, loved, and secure. And so you're going to have to create the new one that is in alignment for what your desires are. And you're going to have to bushwhack. You're going to have to put a program in as many times as it takes to counter the one that was already there, the one that was already put in, so that you redirect, you every time your mind starts to go there, you go, what is the truth about this? Let me remember this. Let me bring awareness and consciousness to this. What's really going on here? Oh, I'm stuck in that groove. I'm stuck in that pattern. I see it now. I recognize it. It's where I'm giving myself away to something I no longer want to experience. Okay, what is it I do want? What is a belief I do? Everything's working for me. Everything's going my way. I'm sovereign being. Spiritual substance is seeing and hearing and feeling everything that I'm putting into it. Spiritual substance is thinking substance. I'm thinking substance. What I think about, I bring about. Let me put that into it. And honestly and truthfully, the desire. You just have to put the desire into spiritual substance. You just have to, instead of going, why don't things work out for me? Why isn't it going my way? Why isn't it? I had a client this week. God bless her. I am so humbled. I am so honored. Man, what she's gone through. A beautiful young woman. And she's about 25 years old. Oh my God, I would have crushed. I would have crumbled for what her life has been up to this point. Mine, to me, kind of seems like tiddlywinks compared to what she's gone through. And she's now a registered nurse, and she's creating a life for herself. And the pattern that was put into her of unworthiness and disbelief. And she said, how come, do I feel this way? And she was telling herself the story in the program about, I always lose things and this and that, right? No, that was before. Create a new pattern. What if everything is going my way? If you can't get to everything's going my way, what if everything is going my way? What if everything is happening for me? I expect the best. I guarantee you, I spent a lot of years not expecting the best. Had to create a new pattern. Every time I went into that dark, scary, fearful, fear-based beliefs and thinking and energy in my body and my being, course correct. Now it takes the consistency. And so people come to this. I've tried everything. I did therapy. I did this. I did that. Did you try this? Because that's what it takes. Getting to that core cause, the 5 C's: cause, clarity for what it is you want, where you're going, clearing, getting in alignment with the core values, and having the courage to stay with this, to stay with it. You've got to do, the program can be so strong. For some people, it's decades. Like this young gal, she's 25. People that are older, 50, 60, decades of the same programming. It's not going to, it is easy. It is an easy and simple process. You just need to be consistent. You have to be consistent. So it's constant space repetition. Constant space repetition. You have to say the new programming, get it deep into the subconscious and the programming. Every day, multiple times a day. I used to walk through my house talking to myself all the time. My partner would hear me, he'd be like, who's she talking to? I'm talking to my subconscious. Sometimes I'm talking to the cat or the dog, but most of the times it's my subconscious. So it's not about just repeating these mindless affirmations. I don't like the word affirmation. It's got to have more charge than that. It's about a restructuring of your internal core beliefs. on a deep, deep level in your consciousness, your beliefs about yourself and the world. And God knows. God didn't create this world that we're seeing right now. Man did. God knows we're in struggle. Right? Knows that we're creating this. It's not, we're always at choice. It's not about continuing to blindly follow our government or stay in these broken down institutions and systems. Why don't they teach this stuff in school? Because every kid would be empowered to dream and to create, and they wouldn't have anyone as their puppets. Wouldn't have anyone as their puppets. Look at the people running to get vaccinations. Fear, 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 fear. Loaded with really bad substances. On the bandwagon, being programmed. No critical thinking. No belief, no desire. I used to give flu vaccines years ago, 20 years ago. So I used to do the flu vaccine clinics. I read that insert on what's in those vaccines. Not only would I not get one, I made great money doing that. I stopped doing the vaccines. Couldn't do it anymore. It was against my internal belief system to support that. So back to constant spaced repetition. It's not that this doesn't work. It's not that the methods and the modalities don't work. I had a client, her internal belief was that she sent me an email and she said, "Oh, I felt unexpectedly good the last 2 days. Were you doing healing on me?" Her belief is that I did healing and she felt better. And so I'm the one that facilitates the healing instead of her doing the work that I taught her to do and facilitating her own healing. Unwilling to grow and learn and program a new belief system. And she actually is very, very knowledgeable, has studied all of this for like 20 years. And she would tell me, "Well, I know all this." You may know it intellectually, but if you aren't experiencing health and well-being, then you have not embodied it, and you have work to do. You have work to do. And the fact that she wrote an email that said, "I felt unexpectedly good," that tells me what her internal identity is, what her core belief is, what her subconscious identity is someone who is not well. Because it was unexpected. She's believing in the worst. So she's got to create a new reality. She's got to do a new groove and a new pattern. And to also ask and say, what is the truth about this? Could I be holding on to this as a way to get sympathy, to get attention, to get the love, self-esteem, respect? And that becomes the identity of, no, I'm so, this is a kind of a very backwards, twisted identity. See, it's how you elevate. See, I'm so special, no one can fix me. I'm so special, no one can heal me. It's a very convoluted identity, right? It's a convoluted way to get. And again, I have no judgment. I have no judgment on it. It's just, I say these things. Number one, I'm not throwing anybody, and especially my clients, under the bus, but I point it out as a teaching tool, as a model to see, like, this is where the work is in healing. It's not about, let's get to the next practitioner. Let's get to the next modality. She was like, well, I hired you for the healing. I didn't say that that's how your healing was going to happen. I don't have a magic wand. Nobody has a magic wand. And she had been working with healers that she could just literally have on call when she didn't feel bad, and they would do healing on her, which is a big disservice. They're not, well, they're probably offering the truth as they know it. But is it capital T truth? No, I don't believe that it is. I wouldn't keep working with her. I wouldn't take any more of her money. She's not willing to do the work. It's laid out to her. And she would argue with me and say, well, tell me how I can do this and this and this and this and combine these things. I said, that's not what you need. And I didn't tell you that's what you needed. Right? Here's what needs to happen. And it was the simplest thing. It was the stillness practice that I teach people. That's all she needs to do. But because she needs to control from a very young age of being in a narcissistic, very scary environment with her family, she repeated that pattern over and over and over again, and it's all that's familiar to her. She cannot see. There's so much resistance. She cannot even really hear or see what it is I'm trying to teach her, how it is I'm trying to help her get the new principles of what's going to create healing. She's repeated this same pattern that she's currently in over and over again. And it's so blinding that she can't even see the pattern that I'm trying to help her create to get out of it. So much resistance. That's how the subconscious is insidious in trying to keep that pattern. And so it takes consistency. It takes consistency. You can't quit. You can't give up. There is a tipping point. And the more that you practice the tools, especially the tools that I teach, the more that you practice the tools, the easier it gets and the quicker the tipping point hits. I would say probably the most flack I get is about the stillness. I can't. But I've had a lot of people lately in the resistance. One girl wanted me to just, grown woman wanted me to just keep giving her lip service and telling her what she wanted to hear. And she kind of thought I was being mean, right? Like she didn't like my communication style. I'm like, listen, stroking these old patterns that are in you to make you feel safe is not what you need. You need somebody to shake it up a little bit and kind of, lovingly, gently give you a smack in the face so that you can break out of it's to like shake someone out of that old pattern, because it's sometimes really, really hard to see. Like it's the fly on the window. That fly has no flipping idea. The door is over there. And so this is a lot of when the clients come to me, they have no idea the door is over there. So I want you to know the door is over there. Be willing, be open, be coachable. It's okay to be in fear. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to even be in resistance, but allow yourself to just receive new information. Like if it sounds familiar, don't just go, oh, I need to reject that. And sometimes the resistance is so strong. I have clients that'll say, I got an email today. She's like, tell me what to do. She doesn't even realize that I already gave her the instructions. I already gave her the information of here's what to do this week. Her mind, the subconscious, that's one of the tricks, is to put us in confusion. Put us in confusion that we can't even hear, that we can't see the door. Right? So be aware of this. If you're chasing after modalities, stop. Happy to work with you, happy to teach you, happy to help you with these things. Please feel free to reach out to me. Contact me on the website. Go and get our quiz on the website. Sign up for a medical intuitive consultation. Get to the core cause. So best place to start. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. You just have to have a new pattern. Create a new pattern. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Place to Be Free podcast. If you found inspiration in our discussions on empowered living, mindset, and spiritual laws and healing, don't forget to subscribe and share the wisdom with your community. Connect with me on social media, and for exclusive content, free resources, and to stay updated on upcoming episodes, visit the website at marthablessing.com/free stuff. Until next time, remember, you're the author of your story. Keep breaking through barriers, defy old worn-out beliefs and patterns, and create a life without limitation. I'll see you in the next episode.